My guest is Ruth Waters. She also founded the Peninsula Art Museum. And at this moment, I want to start asking her some questions about how she did that one. So first of all, give us a little idea of the Peninsula Art Museum.
All right, it's a mere baby as art museums go. We've been incorporated and exhibiting for about, well, since spring of 2004, so 5.5 years. And we are very fortunate to have our starter home in a 100-year-old estate building in Belmont. We have half of the main floor. We do 4 exhibitions a year. But that's sort of like the end of a long story, because I think it was back in '97, I had been talking about the need for an art museum on the peninsula since we moved back to the peninsula.
By the way, excuse me,
there it is.
there's your
Sure.
building.
Yes, 100 years old, Spanish colonial in Twin Pines Park. And it's a great space. We're very fortunate to have it. We need at least twice as much space because we have no space for art education classes. We only have one real exhibition gallery. But what happened was that I had talked for years about we need an art museum. Nothing happened really until after the 1989 earthquake. And that changed everything. People broke the habit of going up to San Francisco for everything cultural. And at the same time, we were seeing a huge development of, well, the biotech area in the North County. Silicon Valley is all the way up, and don't let anyone tell you it isn't.
No,
you know, Oracle would be a little insulted to think they weren't in Silicon Valley.
I think it goes into Marin.
Oh, it does, it does. And so we had all this development of corporate America, and people were beginning to think, hey, you know, we need stuff here. So suddenly, there were people saying, yes, we do need an art museum. And it was in, well, I guess it was about 1997. There was a public forum on the arts, and with that, a working committee got together, and we were on our way.
This forum, did you play a role in it?
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. Were you the driving force behind it?
No. I was just one of the group called Art Share that put on a forum on, and the theme that year was, where are the holes in the cultural fabric of the county, of San Mateo County? And the conclusion was the 2 big things we needed. One was a real performing arts center, and the other was a real art museum. We've never had an art museum. The Performing Arts Center has been worked on and improved tremendously, but it is still the high school auditorium. So with all its problems, it does a great job, but you know, really, it's time. And there were great dreams of building a real art museum, you know, a whole freestanding building and a new performing arts center, until the financial world collapsed. So everyone in the art world is now pulling back and saying, it's someday.
So how did you get the Peninsula Art Museum off the ground?
We started out with an online internet thing, and then the building became available. And because I had been working with the City of Belmont for so many years with the Art Center, when the previous tenants dissolved, they asked me if I'd like to take it over. So I said yes.
Can I interrupt you? You
Sure.
said you started with an online, was this an online museum representing the artists of the Belmont area?
Not
or
really.
The peninsula? What
And
was it? Nothing much?
It was, yeah, it was different. I might as well dig into it. It started out, we called it the Silicon Valley Art Museum. And we put together exhibitions online, and we had virtual receptions. And things went very well until we got the real building. And then it developed that half of the board only wanted the internet. So we did a corporate divorce. And the physical art museum people stayed and became the Peninsula Art Museum. and the rest of them went and stayed online.
Okay, so the building, somebody vacated the building that was available in this park,
in the park.
I think, and the building was owned by the city or the
Yes,
county.
it still is.
The city?
Mm-hmm.
And you have tremendous relationships with the city.
Yeah.
And at that point, you started to chat with them about the importance of turning that building into at least half of it
Well,
into.
Actually, it already was. It had been leased and managed by the San Mateo County Arts Council, which dissolved. And so it, for a number of years, had the exhibition gallery. And it had, the Belmont Arts Council has a gallery space, and they had studios upstairs that were rented out for a number of years. So it was just a matter of cleaning up and refining and doing a lot of restoration work on the building. It's 100 years old, and it's just a constant, you know, it's a challenge. Any old building is a challenge, but we think we've improved it.
Good. So now you are on the board, is that right?
I'm chair of the board of the museum. I function as property manager for the building.
Okay. All right, those are nice positions. What in your character has enabled you to take those two leadership positions?
Oh, geez, you ask tough questions.
I'm flattered.
Huh. Well, okay. You can start with, I have a degree in journalism from Stanford, so I'm used to investigating things, figuring them out. I worked as a technical writer and editor for years and managed a graphics operation. Oh, editor of a department in a daily newspaper and taught it at a college. Stuff. So communications has always been part of me. And I'm stubborn. When I think something is worth doing, I'll keep pushing. Beyond that, I don't know. I'm just me.
Why do you push to accomplish?
Why do you? I mean, it was part of us.
Okay, yes.
Some people do and some people don't.
Yes.
I can't tell you why I am who I am.
Okay. All right. I'd like to go to another point for a moment. You have a new exhibition coming up. Well, I should first ask,
Yes.
what kind of exhibitions, what kind of art should we expect if we were to go to the Peninsula Art Museum?
You can expect interesting, challenging work full of content and different perspectives, and honoring regional artists who sometimes are not really very well recognized in their own areas. We did a show several years ago called Local Legends, where we honored 6 outstanding artists who, some of them are much better known, say, in New York City than they are here.
Yeah. What roadmap would you give the rest of the country that wants to develop some culture, art, in their area?
Well, look for the derelict buildings, and old school buildings are great, but anything, a warehouse, a shed, whatever, but make it big enough that you can get at least 4 or 5 or 6 artists actually working in there, each with their own space, so that it becomes an entity, enough there that people will go out of their way to come and see what's going on. And then you can have events. You can have a name for the place. You can have open studios. You can have shows and receptions. And let your whole community share in your creativity.
I'm going to take over. From what I heard from Ruth Waters, if you want to go to a museum that is going to show something different, and not just little flowers or landscapes, but something new and different, it is the Peninsula Art Museum in Belmont. My guest has been Ruth Waters. I'm Michael Killen.